Hey everyone, this is Kim.
And this is Nico and Tati's missing. We're from Nameless Kids. And we're here with Rob on Front Row Live.
What's up, guys? I'm hanging out today with Nameless Kids, and I'm super excited to be talking to you because your new single has been on repeat, and it's just such a beautiful track. And I love the way that both your voices mesh together on this track. So I really want to start there. I want to start talking about how the two of you started collaborating with vocals together and being able to unite your voices in a way that just sounds so magical.
I guess it's a matter of really finding our own frequencies when it comes to like doing the vocal arrangements. Because Kim, for example, she gets the high notes, but also for a female, she can hit a bit lower notes. But for me, I'm the guy that can't really hit lower notes, but I can somehow hit relatively high. So yun, I think with Kim, when we were starting to do Nameless Kids, it was mostly Kim just getting the high notes and I'm getting the frequencies. And it came naturally. I don't think we had to think about it that much.
Um, actually, um, me and Nico, parang our voices really matches together because even though he has high frequency, kind of parang tone, our voices match as well. So yeah, we don't have to really worry about the recording and
From the beginning, would you say that it was just like a natural process between the two of you? And if so, like how did that kind of impact that writing process as well?
Yeah, I guess it was very natural for the both of us to like fall into place. But also, I think a big factor is that Kim naturally sings very whispery. She's more of like a mellow singer. And I naturally sort of, especially in the beginning, I was somehow hitting my notes a bit more aggressive than I should. So it started out as a good balance for the both of us. Then eventually we had to like meet in between. And when we started writing new music with that dynamic, I guess we found a perfect mix of where we would put, for example, the key of the song. So I would know which key Kim would be comfortable in, and she would write in a key that I would also be comfortable in. And I would I would put my melodies somehow far from where Kim would naturally put her harmonies. And when she writes a melody, she would put her melodies somehow in a space that gives me room for harmonies. So songwriting wise, I guess that's how it worked.
Kim, would you say that you have this certain tone that you gravitate towards every time you start a new single, a new song?
um, like what Nico said a while ago. I have a very whispery tone, so that comes naturally with the voice. So, no, I have no like certain like tone I have to work on every
That's
single
just where she goes.
That's just how my voice goes. Even though I'm just talking, it's very whispery.
So when you guys first started to collaborate together, and you brought this whispery tone, like how would you say that that challenged the process of kind of figuring out that um, the tone that you guys wanted to in your music? Because like you said, Nico, at first you came in a little bit too aggressive. So how did you figure out that like this is that sound for Nameless Kids?
I guess it was really a matter of knowing what type of music we wanted to do. Because I'm pretty sure we would agree, Kim would also agree that when we were starting Nameless Kids, we were sort of lost in between references in terms of like the music we wanted to do. But as like throughout the years of being together, we would always talk about like which music direction we wanted to go. We would send each other the type of music we wanted to do, and that somehow gave us a certain gauge of where we wanted to sit in terms of tone and in terms of songwriting. So it was it was very intentional to fall into where we are now in terms of songwriting. So it wasn't really like, okay, we're hitting this naturally, but also it's a matter of finding a good reference for where our voices would sit naturally and good and better.
When you found that reference, do you feel that the two of you had to also change the way that you write your lyrics, or the types of lyrics and emotions that you kind of gave us on your music?
Wow, great question. Um, I guess I think with any type of art naman, when you create art, it directly represents what you absorb. So any output that you put out is coming from what you take in from other people or from other artists. So definitely the references made a big impact on how you wrote. But also I think starting to write in Tagalog sort of changed our direction in terms of writing, but also gave us another perspective of how we would put into words what we feel. For example, when we all of the writing before we started Sayo ang Mundo was very different from what we wrote after Sayo ang Mundo, even though if even if we write in English, because it somehow give us a better understanding of what people could take in easier and what people could relate to easier. But also it's not really intentional na parang, oh, we want to make this pop, we want to make this very relatable. It's just that we sort of got that grasp of how we could like say how we feel. Na it doesn't really have to be super poetic. It doesn't really have to be extremely intellectual. It's more of like, okay, this is how we feel. This is how I would naturally say it. This is how Kim would naturally say it. And that's what we put into the lyrics instead of like before where we would like overthink everything.
That's a good point, because when I listen to the music, it's a feeling. It's more of a feeling, less of a genre, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of cool, just because it's for anyone. I mean, music is universal, but like, there's people that only listen to one particular genre. But when I'm listening to your music, I just feel like it's just an emotion, a feeling that you guys are portraying. So when it comes to the instrumentation, how do you give us that emotion? You've given us the lyrics, you've given us the voices, but then now you bring the keys, the guitars, and the bass. How do you make that happen?
Hmm. I think because I'm my role as like the main producer of the band, I guess when we're writing our music, it's usually in par with how we would produce it. So for example, if I write a melody, I write it already with the intention of, okay, this is gonna sound like this. So the whole process is sort of emotion based already. So it's not like I would write a riff, then I would figure out how it makes me feel. So mostly it's this is how I feel now. This is what I want to portray in our music. This is what Kim wants to put out in her writing. And sort of it sort of either falls into place, or when we start doing it, it gives us another feeling and we gravitate towards there. But from the beginning, it's always emotion based already. It's never, I guess it's never technical for any one of us. Because it's like we never really make music for it to sound like we're talented people. Because we're definitely not as talented as a lot of artists up there. So what we try to do is, because the only unique thing about us is how we feel, and that's not and it's something that no other bands can feel. That's what we try to put into the song. It's not really technicalities, it's not really theory, so it's just feeling based.
What about for you, Kim, with this song in particular? Like, how do you feel that you stepped out of your comfort zone in order to give us this feeling that you gave us with the track?
Um, Honestly, sometimes I feel like um sorry, I'm nervous. I'm a bit nervous.
She's not a talker.
All right, the rest of
Um,
this interview, you're talking, Kim.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
Um, um, Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what to.
Well, okay. So, for example, you
Yeah.
you wrote the lyrics. You went to record your vocals.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, the two of you are comfortable with each other in the studio.
Mhm.
But how do you feel that you challenged yourself to be better than your last song on this new material?
Um, Actually, I don't feel like I need to be better to this like song, or I just do what I need to do. Like every song, it like just bad like how to say that, like it's the same every song. Like the heart that I put into the song, it's the same every song. There's no like favorite song that I need to put like a better me to this like track or new single or new song. Yeah. It's just the
Yeah.
same every song. Yeah.
I think that's where my perspective comes in, because like Benny Blanco recently said that when you're producing for someone or with someone, it's like you're a spotter in the gym where you just put your hands under the weight and you let them do their thing until you feel like they can't do it. So this time I really let Kim start the song without really trying to push anything for her. But I think more of the heavy lifting together came in when we were finalizing the lyrics. Because honestly, the song was melodically, at least, it was 50% there when Kim sent me her acoustic demo, but it was a very slow acoustic song. It's very far from how Gabi is right now, which actually I could, let me look for it because it's here. But
The
anyway,
acoustic, the raw version.
So Kim, do you start everything with your acoustic guitar?
Yeah. Like me personally, but
Yeah.
sometimes when Nico started like writing the song, it's well produced already.
yeah, because that's actually very interesting because we sort of have the exact opposite process. Because
Yeah.
as a producer, I tend to produce the song first before I write over it.
Yeah.
So it's like I top line my own production. But Kim, which I am very jealous of, can write with just her guitar.
Super raw.
That's why I think Kim's writing has a different feeling of like rawness and just authenticity because it comes from a guitar and just her.
I heard Kim is a teacher, so maybe you should take some lessons.
Yes.
Oh,
Teach me,
come on.
sensei,
I just teach here.
Oh, just kids.
sensei Kim.
Sensei Kim.
So what about Tati? Like when he brings in his bass or even background vocals, like how does he put his own world into this music?
Well, I think the main thing that Tati could really give is rhythm. Because I think as much as I could put in demo bass in a demo, like a demo layer of bass in the production, it would never really come out the same way that Tati would do it. Because what I always do is I would finish somehow the demo and put in just temporary bass so I could like write over it. Then send it over to Tati without the bass, or make Tati listen without the bass. And whenever he does the bass, it's way different from what I imagined, and it's always perfect for me. And I guess that's where the bandmate mentality comes in, wherein you can always think of a right way to do something, but it would never be right for the band as right as it would be if your bandmate actually did his part on the song. So for example, I could imagine that I wanted Tati to do a phoenix type of bass for the song, but he feels differently. It would always be perfect because that's Tati, and he's the basis of Nameless Kids, so it would never be my call to do what bass Tati would do.
I love that you each respect and trust each other. I feel like that's always something hard when like you feel like you have a great idea, but then the other person feels like they have a great idea as well. But I
Yeah,
love that you listen to each other and let yourselves kind of go along with it.
yeah, we really try to stay in our lanes.
Yeah, it's really cool. For you, Nico, because you produce for other artists, how does that impact your production for Nameless Kids when you come in to your own sessions?
I think both ways I learn a lot from producing for other artists, but also when I produce, like when I'm producing for other artists, I learn a lot that I can bring back to Nameless Kids. But also, honestly speaking, I was never really playing bass. I was never really playing much guitars before I started with Nameless Kids. So most of the playing that I do for other artists, it's based on what Kim taught me, on what Tati taught me. So it's more of me bringing Nameless Kids out to the other productions than the other productions going into the Nameless Kids stuff.
Wow, I feel like you just like I just graduated like music school with this conversation. But it's also like one of those things where you it's something that is not always apparent, right? Like it usually takes some kind of trial and error before you kind of figure it out to be in this
Yeah.
position where you're like you understand that this is this artist's session and now this is your session and this is how you can bring them in
Yep.
together. um, as you continue to create more music together, where does this single fall as far as like a body of work? Is it like a one-off type of single, or is it a potential body of work that you guys are currently working on?
I mean, it started off as just a single, but now that it really gives us a different feeling that we've never really felt before for a song that we've had. We want to create a whole body of work around this vibe and at least this theme of writing. But it's not gonna be pure Tagalog. I mean, we're still maybe we're gonna be writing an album with like half Tagalog, half English. But yeah, it's probably gonna be in an album.
But you're saying like this song is basically that track that's leading you to
Yes.
this new world of music.
It's basically like Manila in Bloom for our album. It's that
Hmm.
song. So Gabi, I think, is really hitting what Nameless Kids wants to be right now. So that's where we're
Yeah,
gravitating towards.
that's exciting. I hope when that time comes, you guys come to LA.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
And we shall see you there. We
Bucket
shall
list.
have dinner.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Please. Please, please. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me. I guess to close us out, during this process of just your creative process as Nameless Kids, what do you feel has been that biggest evolution that you personally felt you had?
Oh, I think more than the music, it's our understanding of each other emotionally. We're I think we're more at ease now that we're in the same wavelength, we're in the same at least intentions for our lives. And we're sort of secured that each of us are moving for the benefit of each other. So that's why we're sort of more relaxed now in terms of creating music. We know we're gonna be staying together for a very long time. And that's what makes us happy as Nameless Kids. So that's I think it really comes out in our music that that's what's happening behind the scenes.
Um, like what Nico said, the the emotions. Yun yung that's um sorry, I'm
Kukin,
running out of words because it's too early for me. No, just kidding. But
good morning.
yeah, the for me personally na lang, like personally, um my guitar playing, like um I learned a lot from them, from Nico, from Tati, and how to be confident when on stage. And I think I'm more confident now when playing on stage. And I learned a lot of I learned a lot of what do you call that? Like I learned a lot of um um sorry.
You can do it. Because Kim started off as an acoustic player. So she
Yeah.
was never
Yeah.
really playing electric guitar, which is a big leap from being an acoustic player. And now she's
Wow.
playing leads on stage. She's singing louder than she ever had.
Because I'm usually very shy, even here, like even speaking. I'm not really good with um conversating, but yeah, I think my confidence really leveled up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
That,
get
that's amazing. That's amazing. Well, hopefully it levels up even more. So the next time we meet, we'll do an
yes,
in-person interview, and then
fully.
you'll have your own mic the whole time.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Like I said, I look forward to hopefully seeing you guys in LA. But if not, I hope to experience a Nameless Kids show in the Philippines because I feel like hometown and home base is probably the best place to experience this your music and your vibes, right?
When you come here, We're definitely inviting you.
Sounds good.
You better show up.
I'll
You better show
Okay.
up
Oh, I will. I'll keep you guys in the loop.
for sure.